So you're probably like, Joe, why are you out here walking backwards all alone? If you follow my YouTube channel, you know that I've had problems with my knees. I'm 28, turning 29 next year, so like a lot of you guys, as you get older, your body starts to not work as easily as it used to. So today I'm gonna show you a few exercises and like tips or techniques that I use so that I can skate as much as possible. Typically I'd be skating like every single day, but recently I've been struggling to find time to skate. As well, I do like deliveries every night from like 5 to 10. So it's just been like really hard to find a time to skate. So I'm literally just out here in front of the house trying to get a little flat ground session in on this crusty ground while Silas is in there taking a nap. So I haven't skated in 4 days. I don't know where my knees are actually at. So I'm gonna run through pretty much all the knee exercises that I find helpful, and hopefully my legs are feeling good and can get a quick flat ground session going. Real quick, shout out to Pleashoes again, hooking it up with the fresh shoes, the Why So Sad colorway. I'm not a big fan of skating new shoes. I hate like breaking them in and whatnot, but these look really nice. Hopefully we can land a few tricks in them today. Just while I'm putting my shoes on, I do want to say like shout out to everybody that showed up to the live stream yesterday. I did not expect it to go as well as it did. I was just pretty much doing a little like trial run. I expected like maybe 6 people to show up, and we got up to like 35 people at one point. But if you guys like those kind of conversational streams, I might need to get like a better mic, maybe figure out like how to hook up my camera to my computer and like make the picture quality. And I don't know, maybe I become a streamer. Maybe we do some streams where we like talk about tricks and how to do them and stuff. Let me know if you guys would be into something like that. Okay, so the first thing that I do for my knees, and this is probably the most effective and the most important thing that you can do, is jogging backwards. I stole this from Knees Over Toes guy. I used to do his program. So if you want more information on it, you can go follow Knees Over Toes on Instagram. But basically, as you get older, you start to sit more, you move your body less. And in America and other first world countries, we do a lot of sitting on chairs, whereas in other countries, they actually like will squat down like this. And so they're constantly basically going from a squat position like this, standing up and down all day. So their knee is basically getting worked through the full range of motion, all the way up, all the way down, over and over all day long. So it's one of those things where it's basically like you need to use it or you're gonna lose it. So before you start, jumping in trying to like lift weights or do anything crazy with your knees, the best thing to do is just to start running backwards, because that simulates that position of your knee going in front of your toes. That's the most vulnerable position for your knees. And so by running backwards, you're basically safely putting your body into that vulnerable position and like warming up your whole knee joint, so that when you actually start the skate session, you've decreased the likelihood that you're gonna like go to ollie up something and just feel that pinching pain in your knee that I'm personally like way too familiar with. If I don't do a lot of work off the board, it will take me forever to warm up. And it's just kind of like showing up to the session, rolling the dice, whether or not you're actually gonna hurt your knee or help your knee during the session. The last thing you want is to feel that pinch, because that basically means that rather than your knee progressing and moving forward and getting stronger with your skateboarding essentially made your knee weaker. And that's the last thing you want. You want to be able to skate as much as possible. So by warming up your knees, by jogging backwards, kind of getting the front of your knee and the tendons and the joint warmed up before you start skating, I think it'll help you a lot. I used to make myself do 10 minutes of backwards running before every single session when my knees were in like really bad shape. And I went from the sessions being like a gamble, not knowing whether or not my knees were gonna be okay, to every time that I did that, I was able to skate pain-free through the entire session. The one sucky thing about it though is that it does take energy out of your skating, like all the energy that it takes to jog backwards for 10 minutes straight. It does basically mean that you have used up some of your stamina. However, the good thing about it is once you're done with your 10 minutes of backwards running, you can pretty much like jump into the session. Like you're already warmed up, ready to go. At that point, it's just getting comfortable on your board, which ideally you'd like to get warmed up and comfortable on your board at the same time by just like rolling around the park. work. But if your knees are in such bad shape that it's basically a risk every time you just start skating, whether or not your knees are gonna like pinch or hurt, I'd suggest just go with the precaution of doing some backwards jogging, at least until you feel like your knee joint is warm and you feel like you've warmed up your legs. Just try and get to that point before you jump on your board. Guarantee that will help you if you're somebody that struggles with, you know, feeling pain in your knees when you skate. So the second key is something that I learned from Skateboard Strength on Instagram. Basically what he says to do is you get a skateboard, right? And you lay down and you pretty much, you try and do like a bridge, right? You like lift up your butt and then you extend your leg all the way and pull it up like a hamstring curl. And what that does, I believe, if I'm correct, that strengthens your ACL. So that basically uses the muscles that pull your knee joint tight and activates the muscles on the back of your leg that are needed for stability. So not only do you want to like obviously run backwards to like warm up your knee, but by strengthening your leg, activating the muscles that are responsible for, you know, protecting your knee throughout the session, I have found that this has helped reduce that, you know, pinching feeling when I skate dramatically. Like, sometimes I'll be doing everything right, backwards running, some of the other exercises that I'm gonna show you, but then if I don't do anything to work the back of my leg, it feels like I'm overworking the front of my leg. And as skateboarders, we're always crouching down and standing up. We're always using our quads to like explode up when we pop a trick. And so what that does is you're basically creating your legs to be really, really strong along the front, but there's nothing in skateboarding that's really working the hamstrings and the back of the knee joint. Skaters that have a job, we're a little bit older, we're not in like our peak physical form anymore. If you want to keep skating and you just jump back into skating with pretty much like no leg muscles at all, you're just gonna be working the front really, really hard and get out of balance really, really quick. So just by doing this laying hamstring curl on your skateboard that I learned from Skateboard Strength, that'll help, again, activate muscles that are gonna help protect your knee throughout the session. That way, the session is actually helping you progress, help you build your knee strength, rather than causing you more pain and keeping you off your board. One thing that I don't have at the moment, but is really, really beneficial, is massaging out your knee joints, particularly your patellar tendons. So there's this knee issue that a lot of skateboarders deal with. It's called patellar tendonitis or jumper's knee. And basically what it is again, as skateboarders, we are jumping with our ollie so much, we're extending, and it puts all this stress around our knee right here above and below our kneecap. That's where our patellar tendons are. And so sometimes you'll go to crouch down and you'll feel this pain either right above, right below, or right above your patellar tendon. And then maybe as the session goes on, you can warm up more, it'll start to go away. But to try and avoid any knee pain altogether, I found the best thing you can do is to really massage with a massage gun, or you can use your fingers, but it's just not as good. But you want to massage across your patellar tendon, straighten your leg all the way so the tendon is, you know, loose and soft, and then massage across either with a gun or with your finger or something. But by doing that, it gets blood flow going across your patellar tendons so that they're not cold anymore. You want to warm them up to reduce the chances of you actually tearing anything in your knee. So like, obviously our bodies are resilient. The more you do something, the more your body adapts to it, and your knees and everything is going to get stronger. So the goal is, throughout that whole process of getting stronger, is to avoid injuring anything. For me particularly, it's in my knees, and I think a lot of you guys would probably relate to that. You just want to take these precautions to make sure that you're actually making progress, strengthening your legs and strengthening your body, so that your skating starts compounding and getting better and better and better, and you're having more and more fun, rather than having to keep taking breaks because your knee is hurting, or not being able to skate as hard as you want because your knee is hurting. The next tip I'll give you is from Knees Over Toes again. Something that he recommends is basically to do squats, but with your heels elevated like this. So you see I'm doing it in the gutter. You can do this at the skate park, like if you find a bank But basically what this does, by elevating your heels, it takes your ankle out of the equation and allows you to get a deeper squat and really focus on strengthening your knees all the way from the bottom to the top, so that you can work on creating strong knees even at the very bottom of your squat, which is where most people get hurt. But not a lot of people can squat this low, because when you squat on flat ground, notice how your heel wants to come up, and that's because your ankle isn't that flexible. And so rather than getting a full squat, the lack of flexibility in your ankle starts to put stress into your knee joint. So by elevating your heels in a gutter, you could figure out any which way to do this at the skate park. There's also this thing that I bought that's called a slant board that I do squats on, but basically by slowly going up and slowly going down, I build that control and that strength all the way through the full range of my knee to try and make my knee stronger and more resilient, so I can skate as often and as hard as I want to. So the last exercise that I recommend is another one from Knees Over Toes guy. But basically you come to something like this, you know, a gutter, or maybe it's a bank at the skate park. But again, something to elevate your heel. And basically you want to turn your foot angled out just a little bit, and you want to do like small little one-legged squats. And what this does is you should feel this muscle right here. You should feel it start to like contract. And the reason this is such a good warm-up exercise and a good strengthening exercise for skateboarding is because that muscle right there, it's called your VMO. The strength of that muscle is the biggest predictor whether or not you're going to get a knee injury or your knees are going to be safe. So just like I talked about doing the like hamstring curls with your heels on your skateboard to really stimulate the muscles that are going to be stabilizing your knee on the backside of your knee, this is the opposite of that. This is stimulating the muscles that are going to be supporting and stabilizing your knee on the front side. So now that I've gone through all these exercises and like techniques for helping prepare your old man knees for the skate session, let's get a quick flat ground sesh on this crusty ground. I don't know if you can see that, but this ground is not good. It used to be really smooth back in the day, but they came and redid the road and somehow they made it worse. I don't know what the point of redoing the road is if they're only gonna make it worse, but haven't been able to skate in 4 days, so let's see how the flat ground session goes. Had to go grab the baby monitor, but homie's asleep. We probably have a good half hour. Hi, camera. Not gonna lie, that was like the worst session of my life. Just the combination of like not skating for 4 days, my legs not feeling quite there, and then the new shoes, as well as like the super crusty ground. Like, I don't know, I was hoping that I would do this and I'd be like, this would become a normal thing because, you know, I get used to the ground and then, you know, maybe I'd like be able to acclimatize to it, and then skating rough street spots would like not be bad. But honestly, that was just so frustrating. I don't know if I ever want to do that again. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and tips and techniques for trying to skate as long as possible. So appreciate you guys watching. Make every single day Friday, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.